Hey guys, Kevin Plowy here. Welcome to Facebook Live on Yahoo Movies. As you can see, we have a very special guest in the building today. She is the star of the new comedy Amateur Night, Ashley Tisdale. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
How is everything?
Everything's good.
Yes.
Early morning, but really good.
Mm-hmm. Wrapping up the promotional tour
Yes.
for this movie. So tell us about Amateur Night. What's the scoop on this movie? Why did you get involved?
Yeah, it's based on a true story. With the directors.
Insane.
It's so insane. Yeah, especially if you've seen the preview.
Yes.
You can only imagine what the movie's like.
Mm-hmm.
Joey and Lisa, when they first moved to LA, Joey could not get a job. Lisa was pregnant, and so she was like, "You just need to make money." So she went on Craigslist and found him a driving job, and he turned out to be driving prostitutes for 10 months in LA. So the movie is all in one night, and Jason Biggs plays him, and he plays
a guy named Guy.
A guy named Guy.
Mm-hmm.
Very
it's
cool.
kind of meta.
Yeah. And I play Fallon, who is one of the prostitutes.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a very different role for me,
Mm-hmm.
which was a lot of fun.
Breaking new ground.
Yeah, I think what drew me to it is that it's a comedy, but it has like a really cool, it's very kind of natural and raw and, just kind of more grounded comedy than I'm used to doing. And also the fact that it was a totally different role for me. I just really liked that I, would be stepping out of my comfort zone and doing something different. And I had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, and by the way, if you guys are watching this at home, at work, at school, wherever you are, I guess it's not school season.
It's not school
season. Unless you're in summer school. You could be in summer school, and if that's the case, good luck. But if you guys are watching this, we are taking some questions in a few minutes, so add them to the comments section now. Keep them fresh, keep them clean. So Fallon, was this actually a real person who you played?
Yeah, Fallon actually, I think she's the only one who has, it's actually her real name.
Okay.
So she was a real person, and we never got to meet them, but we saw pictures, and Joey would just on set would explain exactly how these girls were. I think when I went to audition, they were they kind of knew me from past movies and past stuff that I had done, and they were like, "Oh no, she's not right for this," and my agent's like, "No, she really, really loves the script, you have to bring her in," and so I remember I was like, "Oh, you know what's perfect for this role?" I had these Free People boots, and they kind of remind me of stripper boots. So I was like, I have the perfect shoes for this. And so I always like to really go in, I'm not really a method actress, but I took method acting when I was younger, so maybe I really try to get involved with my characters, but I really came in dressed the character. And
you literally dressed for the part.
I dressed for the part, and and I guess the directors were like, "Oh, when she walked in, we just knew she was the one for this role." I mean, she kind of to me, Fallon has a little bit of a Kesha vibe, and that's really who I was inspired by the entire time.
Okay.
So, she's the rocker chick. She was the girl that's probably a groupie at night and goes to concerts and is the best part, or I guess what was so interesting about it is that how he explained the girls were that they weren't victims, and they weren't they didn't have pimps. They were actually business women. So that was very different from my perspective on what they do. So
well, you mentioned that at first the filmmakers were like, we don't know if she's right for it. Do you find it a challenge or have you in the past to sort of break out, considering that you started in the Disney sphere with High School Musical? Did you find it challenging at points to have to break out of that pigeonhole?
Every day I find it challenging.
Still, even years later.
Still years later, I still see those fans on Twitter talking about High School Musical, which is, I am completely grateful for it. It's I'm here today because of it. So it's amazing. But from I've been acting since I was 3 years old. So I had a career before Disney, and I want a career after Disney. And so I know it's definitely something that you just kind of have to go in and prove yourself. It's never been easy. I don't think my road or my journey in acting has been the easiest. I mean, even for High School Musical, I was on a Disney Channel TV show, and they didn't think I was right for the part. I've always kind of had obstacles, but I think just who I am as a person, I'm just very driven, and I'm someone who I'm going to prove it to you that I am meant to do this. and I go in there and I fight for the role, and I think it makes me way more grateful for the experience after than, you know, to be someone who's like given a role for something, you know?
Right.
I'm just like more like, I gotta get this.
It actually kind of reminds me of what Daniel Radcliffe has done, like after to break out of sort of the Harry Potter mold.
I'm just like Daniel Radcliffe.
You are just like Daniel Radcliffe. No, but like after he came out of Harry Potter, what's the first thing he did? He goes and drops Trow on Broadway.
Yeah.
And he's taken all these edgy roles. Like
Yeah.
do you sort of see it in that light, like if you go a little further, it's going to help you get to where you ultimately want to be?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have done projects that I thought would kind of separate me, but really hasn't. But it's stuff like this that actually does separate me. And I'm also 31, so it's like, you know, playing these roles or stuff that I watch on TV or watch in movies. And so I think the more kind of edgier and darker, you know, that's kind of like what I'm interested in right now.
Cool. We're going to take a question from one of your fans on Facebook. This is from Hannah. What was your favorite memory filming amateur night?
My favorite memory filming.
It looks like it was a fun shoot.
It was. I mean, honestly, like
shoot?
I just remember shooting the movie. It was a 17-day shoot, which is the smallest shoot ever for a movie. And I remember like maybe a week later, we got pictures of, you know, on set, and feeling like it was like I was hungover and I forgot the entire night what happened. That's how I felt about the movie. So, but we had so much fun. Jason Biggs is one of the funniest people ever.
Yeah.
And he just is so professional, so talented, and just an all-around like really nice guy. Like
he seems like an incredibly nice guy.
The nicest guy.
Yeah.
So I think one of my favorite memories is like the first night of filming. You know, we were obviously all really nervous and, you know, scared to like start doing these roles, and we had this like the car scenes were the first scenes that we were doing, and Jason like ordered sushi from Katsuya from everyone like in Hollywood, like just for the whole crew and the whole set, and I was just like, this is just like an indie, it's like a small thing, and then like he was just being so like cool and very welcoming, and he really set the tone for, you know, how you are on set. It was just like he's such a great guy.
He's a great guy. He's a great actor. He's done a lot of great things. Whenever I think of Jason Biggs, I'll never the image of him with that apple pie is just seared in my brain. I think forever from American Pie, especially growing up in the '90s. Does that ever come up? Do you ever tease him about that?
Well, we just did an interview, and it was me, Jenny, and Jason in New York City. And the fans kept on asking about that. And, you know, there's a scene in this movie, Amateur Night, that me and him have together that is just probably as bad as the pie. There's something kind of crazy that happens in this movie. And so they're like, do you just love doing that type of stuff? And he was just like, if the movie calls for it, I'll do it. If it's just out of nowhere, absolutely not. And this actually, what happened in the movie was a true story. It actually did happen to Joey's, which is crazy because when you find out what it is, you'll be like shocked. But it's Fallon's special talent, just FYI. And anyway, after the interview, I kept on asking Jason, how did you film the pie scene? Like, were you naked? And I asked
so you did go there. You did like that's
I did because after the fans were asking so many
myself.
times, I'm like, were you naked? He's like, no, you had like a thing on, and it was like, you know, strapped to your. I was like, oh my god, that's so crazy.
Here's a question from Movie Fiends. Do you prefer comedic roles over dramatic ones?
I do prefer comedic roles over dramatic roles. I mean, I love drama. I've done drama, but I think it's like in my blood that I just love to make people laugh. You know, from an early age. I mean, just hanging out with my best friend and us just staying like in my parents' kitchen, hanging out. We just love to literally make each other laugh. And there's just something about it that like when. I don't know, I feel like dramas are amazing, but it's so much harder to make people laugh. It really is like
it's hard.
It's hard, and it's I think that I've just always loved it, and I just get so gratified when people are laughing, and the fact that I can take someone out of their day of going on with them just to make them like literally watch and just like laugh for a minute makes me happy.
Do you do anything to like hone your comedic skills? Do you do improv, or have you ever tried stand-up?
Never tried stand-up. I would probably be horrible at that because I'm really bad at saying a story. Like, I would be messing up completely. But I have done improv. You know, I did a show called Clipped, and literally like 90%, except for me, of the cast were all improv actors. So they're from UCB.
In the TV and film industries?
Well, right now I'm just looking at scripts. You know, obviously I just want to be like really specific on what I want to do next, but I have a production company, Blondie Girl Productions, and we've been developing a lot for me just to be obviously producing. I've been producing for about 8 years now, which is so much fun to do, and it's so different than acting, and I love being able to, when I'm not in front of the camera, be behind the camera. So we've been developing a lot over there, and I'm really just like, I'm focused on, I have a makeup line, Illuminate by Ashley Tisdale, and that's been so much fun, and such a, you know, actually it was really funny because the time we started filming Amateur Night 2 years ago was when I signed with BH Cosmetics to do my makeup line, and it took 2 years for my makeup line to come out and 2 years for this movie to come out, so I feel like they're like kind of paired together. Yeah.
There you go. Well, what is like a role that you haven't done yet, that you're, like a type of role that you haven't done yet that you'd be dying to, if you were offered, or if you were able to create it for yourself?
So many roles at this point. I mean, I always get that question because obviously, yeah, I could develop whatever I wanted for myself, but I think it's just really, for me, it's just like what I read and get inspired by. I can't really say like, oh, this is specifically. I think I want to do, if anything, if I were to do TV, I think I want to do single camera comedy. I think people are so used to me doing multi-camera that it's not really different for them. So I think maybe doing something and changing it up, doing like a single camera comedy would be cool.
Okay.
But I don't know the specific role. I know it when I read it.
Okay. Jeffrey Ricky King wants to know if you play Pokemon Go.
I don't. I can't. I mean, I just like, I see people do it. I'm just like, once
as they like swerve in front of you,
yeah, it's
like the 10?
I feel like we're already on our phones so much that now we're looking for Pokemon. It's like, you know, my sister at dinner, she's just sitting there like looking for the Pokemon, and I'm like, hello, we're all here. I try to be as present as I can be.
Cool. This is from Nate Jett. What is your favorite movie or show you starred in, and why?
Movie or show I starred in. I mean, it's really hard to ask like that one.
They're all your kids, right?
I mean, yeah, they're all like, if anything, no matter how a movie does or how a TV show does, there's an experience that comes with it that you hold on to. It's like, oh, that movie never worked, but the experience and like the journey I went through personally is why I did that, you know? And so I take away pieces of that, and I can't say that one is more my favorite than the other. I think each one of them is, you know, the fact that I get to do what I love to do is a blessing. So I'm so grateful, and yeah, each one's been very different.
And of course, you're balancing this all with a music career.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you do that? How do you do it
I
all?
haven't done that. I just don't do music.
You're done?
I haven't done music in so long.
Yeah.
2009 was like my last album. I have been in and out of the studio. It's been on, you know, so many people ask about my music, and they're like, you need to do more music. And I have been so focused on my acting and producing and everything that I'm doing right now. But I really do miss music. I do. And so I have been in and out. I can't promise anything, but I think it's just finding my sound right now. And, you know, compared to 2009, which was like so long ago. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Who are some of the musicians out there that are inspiring you right now?
Oh, I love Daya.
Okay.
I think she's amazing. That Chainsmokers song with Daya, she's really good. I'd have to say, who else? I mean, 21 Pilots is so awesome. I love them. And Sia. Sia is just so talented.
She is. I agree. Cool. Well, I think we're going to wrap this up. Thank you so much.
That was the quickest 15 minutes ever.
That was. Thank you guys for the questions on Facebook. We had so
Thank
much
you.
fun. Time flew by.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much.
All right.